Hey everybody, what's up? I'm your host Spencer Andrews, A.K.A. DJ Dre, and you're in the mix with DJ Pot from Brooklyn, New York, USA. Thanks for being on the show. How you doing today, brother?
You welcome. I'm fine. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing okay now. You've been a DJ for 30 years. What was your influence, or who was your influence to get you started as a DJ?
Well, my background, my mother and my father, well, they were always music lovers. My father was more so Jimi Hendrix, Rick James. My mother was mainly whatever disco was popular at the time.
Wow.
So that's the kind of music. And then my uncle was a DJ growing up. So, he always had records and turntables. So I guess I just combined the two together.
Definitely. I mean, it was in the family. So,
Yes.
so what else was going to happen to you? It was bound to happen eventually. Um, do you have any influences in the DJ life? Like, are there any DJs that you definitely take from?
Oh, yes, yes. Like I said, first my uncle. Then from New York City, Red Alert is one of them.
Of course, I
He's
work
one
with
of
Red.
the iconic radio hip hop party club DJs there is.
Definitely.
Um, who else? Red Alert.
Chuck Chill Out.
People like yeah, Chuck Chill Out. One looking, he's part of the whole circle. Red Alert, Chuck Chill Out. Part of the whole umbrella.
Yeah, I've been very blessed to work with Chuck. Actually, we worked together for about a couple of months doing
Okay,
a club up in Mount Vernon, New York. So I've
okay,
been blessed to meet some of these people, which is nice. Um,
yes,
but and for me, I started out as a DJ. I learned from somebody, and now, you told me you had these influences, mom, pop, you had the uncle.
yes.
Were you ever taught on DJing, or did you just pick it up?
My uncle taught me the basics. Since he was a DJ, he taught me how to, basically work a mixer, different things like that. But then as I got older, my father bought me one turntable,
You can do
and
so
then,
much. You can do so much with just one turntable.
yes, yes, yes. Growing up, yes. And then eventually he got me a mixer,
Right.
but the turntable it wasn't like a technique. It was just a regular Fisher belt turntable, so I
Yeah.
couldn't really control the pitch. I had to make the records go. I had to find a way to make them blend
No,
together.
no. That's Let me tell you something though. But that really, I'll be honest with you. Not too many DJs. Like I said, you've been doing this over 30 years. I'm in this
Yeah.
27 years, 26, 27 years, and only the true DJs have played on turntables they couldn't control, and
Yes.
it's a true learning experience to have a turntable that you can't control. It's a friggin'
Yes.
experience, and that's one of the reasons why I look for DJs like you. Is that you have this experience, you have this time, and one of the things is, do you feel that DJing from then, starting into it, do you feel that it was like an education for you?
Education and a stress reliever. Education because I'm learning how to read beats. I'm learning how to count beats.
Oh my God, I love this guy.
Learning about well, now I learned where some of the hip hop records come from, as far as the sampling, where they got it from.
Right.
And some of the break beats came from other classic disco, other classic rock songs that was out back then. You know
A
what I
lot
mean?
of
But
sampling, definitely
yes,
a
yes,
lot of sampling.
yes,
Well, I mean, like for me, it was funny. Some people don't know, and some people take something from it. That's why I just mentioned it. Is for me, I met somebody and they sat me down, and it was like going to school. I had to learn the fundamentals, like you said, counting the beats
yes,
wasn't so important as to count them, but to know them, because
yes,
obviously 96 BPM won't go with 120 BPM,
yes, yes, yes,
or it won't sound proper at least. Um, but I had to learn about counting the the measures, one, two,
Yes.
3, 4, um, climax. And one of the things I want to commend you on, definitely want to commend you on this. I did look at some of the stuff you did, and when I saw that you did reggae, I saw that you did house, I saw you did hip hop. I said, this is the kind of DJ that I can give a lot of respect to because you were playing all genres. You weren't being a specialist. And
Yes.
and if not even really having a conversation, but if I say to you, yo, I want you to play house, you don't have a funny look on your face and go, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
So it's one of the things that I really just want to let you know. I do appreciate that about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Because I come from an era in New York City when I started DJ, you had to play everything. It was like, I mean, like for you to do a party or a club, anything, you had to play some everything.
Man, but
You know?
everything back then was required too. It was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't think there was a lot of diehard people.
Yeah. Like yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
forget disco for a minute, but like freestyle, everyone loved freestyle, and
Yes.
that went really big in the in the Latino community. That was big
Yes.
in the Latin community, and then of course the house music, which was mostly your white boys, and then I'm Puerto Rican Italian, but then what we consider classic house today was mainly African American, whites, Latins.
Yes.
That was a little bit of everybody because the house music was different then, and because it was a lot of break beats, and it was giving guys, and I'm sure that you're going to tell me this, it was giving guys like you a lot of license to mess around with. Because
Yes. Yes.
you know, I think probably one of I don't know if you're gonna agree, but probably one of the best tracks, "Follow Me" by Elias. No,
Yeah. Follow Me by Elias. Soho Hot Music.
uh,
Uh.
of course
uh
we can't forget "Planet Rock" and "Play at Your Own
yeah.
Risk." I mean,
Yes.
those were
There
probably
are a few.
those were the soundtracks to
Yes.
our backgrounds. Um, how did you play in any clubs between then and now?
I'm getting back into party clubs now. I mean, so I'm getting back, because of COVID, everything is kind of shut down.
Yeah,
So I'm
right.
getting back slowly, getting into clubs and parties, which I really am enjoying it now, because not doing it so long, now I'm like, I'm really having fun because during the time with COVID, I kept practicing new things, what I mean, putting new mixes together, just having more fun with it.
Right. No, no,
So
of course.
now when I'm yeah, so now when I'm able to get back out there, I'm doing more different, what I mean, difficult things that I have done before.
I miss nightclubs more than anything.
Yes.
I mean, it's where I grew up from. More, I grew up on that. I think my first nightclub was like 17 years old, and then,
Okay.
and I have a fast track career for me, but I just never knew any other place than the nightclub, and I always felt I don't know if you'll agree with this, but I always felt out of place if I wasn't in the nightclub. What about you? How did that feel for you?
Well, to a certain point, because of I'm not gonna say out of place. At one point, I started to, love. I started to love the nightclubs because you were able to do you, play for the crowd.
Right,
And just be able to be in your zone to keep everybody dancing. You know what I mean? So that was one reason why I love DJing at nightclubs. Excuse
right.
me. Just the whole full creativity.
Yeah, no, that's another thing, right? With we were talking to people about how some nightclubs you go in and they're gonna tell you what to play,
Yeah,
and
and that was what made me stop liking nightclubs because it was like, okay, this is hip hop club, like so now I have to play hip hop all night. This is the reggae club, I have to play reggae all night.
yeah,
My thing is, I went there, I done my job because that was what I was supposed to do. Don't you know? What I mean, don't get me wrong.
yeah, right,
But it's the idea, like I'm from an era where you had to play everything, some rap, reggae, some
yeah. You
soca,
had to do
salsa, whatever.
sets.
At the same time.
You had to do sets.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you did a 20-minute house set. You did a 20-minute. I used to play Latin American nights, and like Latin American. I mean,
Yeah.
Latin really isn't a big thing for me, even though I have Latin within me. But
Yeah.
I'm not a big Latin fan. But especially when
Yes.
I used to have to play bachata, and bachata, I used to just stick a knife in my ears,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I hated bachata, and I'm sorry, but like that shit is nasty,
Yeah.
you know.
Like
So I, I just lost all my Puerto Rican listeners, but
not that not that understand. Like like on my website, for example,
yeah,
I, I have a part of my site where they're able to leave a review, right?
you're right.
A lounge booked me, and they kind of left me a bad review because I didn't have enough of that kind of music. You
Well,
know what I mean?
yeah. Well, they have to add. I mean, I think you're. I mean, no offense. I think you're in a bad situation because you're still doing what I'm glad I left doing.
Yeah.
For me now, I get called up and they're like, "Yo, come in for the hour, do your thing," and you know, I mean, to be honest, I've been, I've really been connected with house music, which
Okay.
is a bad, in a way, it's kind of a bad thing, but like I play old school, but I'll get the clubs that call me and say, "Yo, come on in tonight," and of course, do whatever you want to do. And it's
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's when and people say, "Well, how do you make that decision to do it?" So let me ask you this: I tell you, come to my club and do what you do. How do you make that decision on what you're gonna do? Is it premeditated, or tell me about that?
Somewhat is premeditated because I have an idea of what mixes and what songs I want to play, but then really it goes by the crowd.
Right.
I pay attention to who's in front of me. As
That's
I start playing throughout the night, I pay attention to what kind of music they take to the most.
right.
So that's how I mean, I narrowed it all down.
One of the things that we've always told DJs, you got to learn to read the room, and that's
Yes.
and
Yeah,
that's
that's what I said.
something. That's where a
Yes.
lot of DJs fail. They don't read the room. But like I said, for you right now, you're doing if you don't mind, so you're basically doing a whole 8 hours, 7 hours, something like that set, no? Or are you doing a guest DJ spot?
I do both. I do some of both. Like I did a party last weekend, and and I did that party alone by myself. I do both.
Right.
I like doing parties alone because when you do parties with multiple DJs, some DJs turn it into a competition.
Yeah, I know. I've been
As
there.
far as like who can get the crowd jumping the most. I'm like, I'm here to get the crowd dancing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not in competition with you to see who can get the cheering, yelling the most. As long as
No,
they're
I
dancing,
agree.
I'm cool with that.
No, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I'll never forget. I worked with I can't remember his name, but he's well known. I worked with this DJ. Well, let me ask you first. What do you think about a lot of DJs that talk too much on the mic? And they could be well known or not. I mean, like if you take Red Alert, like Red Alert, he don't know how to play a song. Red Alert just knows how to scratch all night and fuck shit up. That's how I feel. And I
Okay.
got love for him too. Same thing with Chuck. But what do you think about all that scratching where they're just sucking up time where they could be playing tracks?
See, I say because I dealt with people who have done both. Some people like that.
Yeah.
Some people don't. Like I said, you just gotta cater to your crowd. Like I'm not a big scratch DJ. I don't I when it comes to scratching, I'm not do the basics.
God bless you.
But and that works for like say for example, DJ Scratch. He's a great scratcher.
Yeah.
So when he do parties, he scratch and plays records because because that's what works for his crowd. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
like I said, if it works for you and your crowd by any means, keep doing it. You know what I mean? It works for you, but it might not work for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me and my crowd.
I've never been. I came up when I first started. Um, Again, I bounced around. I only played. Very luckily for me, I only played three strip clubs, and
Okay.
I'm very proud of that. That it was only three.
Yes.
I played Westchester, the Bronx, and Manhattan, but
Okay.
Um, I played one of the clubs that I played in. I started out in was strictly African American and Latino, and it was
Okay.
funny. And I only say this because it was funny because I'm the white boy, and you know
Mm,
I got all the heads
yeah.
turning like who's this motherfucker? Who's this
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If I was scratching, they'd be like, "How did you know how to do that?" I'm like, what do you mean how I know how to do that?
Yeah.
Like
It's part of
I'm what?
DJing.
Like I'm white. I'm not, I'm not mentally
Yeah. Yeah.
retarded or some shit like that.
That's true.
Um, but we had a big drug community in there, and these
Mm,
guys, hey, big shout out to Tony and the crew, and next thing you know, you got an 8 ball in your hand, or you got $100 in your hand, and it
yeah.
continued
Yeah.
throughout the night. And I got to admit, I missed that. I did. I missed that kind of thuggish life, even though I wasn't playing the role. Have you ever
Yeah. Yeah.
played in places like that were like really, I don't know, some would
Oh,
say seedy or whatever, but have you ever played in clubs like that were kind of just messed up back in the day, but you enjoyed working there?
yeah. Like when I first started, it was just getting into any club I could get my hands into. I'm not gonna lie. You try to get yourself out there. So
Well, you're
if a
hungry.
club called you, it might have been the most craziest club, but you know what? I want to get in there. I want to get the people dancing and get paid in the night.
Right.
So I've done a lot of clubs like that. I've done a lot of little hole in the wall clubs in Brooklyn that were not legally clubs.
Yeah.
But people paid to get in to have a good time.
Right, right. Do
We
you,
got
by the
shut
way,
down multiple times and we got to keep going.
having the conversation, do you, because you're about my age, give or take, do you ever remember hearing, or maybe you're out in Brooklyn, but did you ever hear of a club called the Playhouse in the Bronx?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
All right, well that's where I played at.
Oh
So,
wow. Okay. Yeah, you heard about this.
yeah, that. I mean, I think we're the only people that I know of that had bulletproof doors. Um,
See, yeah.
but but I loved it though. But like people were getting capped out front.
Yeah.
I mean, but it wasn't as bad as you may have heard of. But like
Yeah.
like one of our DJs, he got capped out front because he was being stupid with somebody. For me, I was respectful of all. Because you can't not be respectful.
Yeah. Of
No
course.
matter
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you play. Now, don't get me wrong. You live in Brooklyn, so you know what the life is like. You've seen some shit.
Yes.
You've seen some stuff, so you're a little more aware of it than I am. I live up in
Yes.
Westchester. I'm in New Rochelle, New York, so I'm in the suburbs.
Okay.
But you know, I think that's why, like for me, I've become a lot more receptive to stuff because I lived or worked in these places, and I know. It's kind of like saying, you were educated on the streets,
Yeah. Yes.
and
Yes.
that's where your education works best. Okay, so now, what do you think of the music from then to now, especially with hip hop? Do you think music has gotten crappier now? Do you think it's gotten worse, or
Uh,
there is some
and
horrible music?
there was always horrible music in any time frame. So it all depends on which you take it. You know what I mean? So hobby music is not the new thing.
No, it's not the
It's
new
just
thing.
yeah, is there was hobby music always existed.
All right, but like
It's just
for you,
it's just
are,
yeah.
are you more of the hip hop culture, or you just everything culture?
I'm more of an everything culture, but I do love hip hop.
Right
Now a
now,
lot of the new hip hop, I really don't take to it no more because of the beat patterns and the rhymes. Just to me, all of it don't make no sense to me.
well, do you think that there even is like I've heard some pretty stupid stuff in my eyes. I mean, it feels like they're saying, like, I'm not saying they did this, but it just sounds like it's this. I went to the store, I needed milk, I got more, and then I shot someone in the head, and I went to bed. I mean, it just feels like it's just
Yeah,
anyone. It sounds like they're just putting stuff out to put it out.
because like as somebody who worked in the industry, now they're focused on sales streams and being more popular. popularity. They're not really focused on the lyrics and what is being said now,
Yeah.
which just sucks because that's where like and that messes up the game a lot. You know, what I mean, the people because there are some new artists who really write, who like and who are really good at rapping.
Yeah.
But
Oh, of
those are the
course.
ones that don't get played because they're not popular. They're not, what I mean, they're not the popular rappers.
They're not as
So
popular,
radio,
right?
yeah, so radio don't tend to play them.
Right. It's like them B movies where you watch a movie. There's one celebrity in the entire movie, and
Yeah,
everybody else you've never seen in your life.
yeah.
Um, what do you think might be some of the biggest differences you've seen in this business?
Now is getting in and staying relevant.
Yeah.
Cause like me, like my past, I worked for a few record labels in the past, and a lot of them, what I mean, like getting in now is a lot harder than
Oh
back
yeah.
then.
Yeah, because back then it could have happened. Like I said, look at me. I worked in a strip club. Guy came in. I want you to work at my club. You know,
Mm.
and you could walk into a club and you could say, "Hey, I'm so and so. This is what I do. Here's one of my tapes." Yeah, I
Yeah.
said tape. Here's a tape, and you were getting a call. But that's another thing. Like now, you're not going to work. You know,
No.
because there's promoters, and I've always said the promoter game is who you know, who you blow, and if you don't know, if you're not friends, or at least again know of a promoter for a nightclub, you're never gonna work. And
Well, not even now, because now the game is so. To me, I'm gonna be honest, it's messed up now because you have DJs coming in as promoters, and they only get paid as a DJ, but not get paid as being a promoter also.
well, that's because they're doing the whole,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
taking everything, right? And it's their own fault because they're paying themselves as a DJ. They're getting X percentage of the door, X percentage of the
No,
bar.
a lot. I know, no, a lot of these DJs are not. They're only getting paid for the DJ, but they're putting the
Oh.
flyers all over their social media accounts.
Oh, so
But they
that's
get paid as
messed
a
up.
DJ because the whole popularity to just to say, "Hey, I DJ at this club."
All right.
But my thing is, at the end of the night, the club is what makes the most money because whatever you can pay the DJ. Say for example, if you can pay 500 a night just to DJ,
Yeah.
that's all you get.
Oh, that's messed up.
But if you're promoted to your following and you bring in 200 people at say for example $30 a
No.
head,
Yeah, exactly. See, I haven't heard of that because
they profit.
I'm not in the game like that. But
Yeah,
like I would never, I don't. First of all, I'll never promote myself because like I don't like. It's too much work. You got to get people. You got to get runners. People that run around with your flyers. You got
yeah,
to, it's and then you got to get people you trust. You know, sometimes with the game, it's I'll give you $1 a flyer, and you put your name on it, and it's just
yeah,
bullshit because my boy had a club, and I used to run the club with him, and I used to DJ. I used to do everything there, and we used to get these promoters come in. Yo, how many people you hold? Be like, yo, we hold 600. Oh, I'll pack the place. And I used to tell them, say, yo, it takes a bullshitter to know a bullshitter. You ain't packing this place. And you give them all these chances. You listen to all their bullshit. And the first night, they do like 30 people.
yeah,
You know, so I would never promote myself. I would never, as a DJ, I would never. I mean, I would make good money because people know me, but I would
yeah.
never do it. I just won't do it. You know,
See, yeah, see, I started because me and my friends we started having parties also. So since it's my party, I promote myself and DJ at the same time. You know what I mean?
yeah, but if it
But
can
me
work
as
for
just
you,
covering it, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
and if you're not, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if you obviously don't sound stupid enough to cut your own throat,
Oh no. Oh
so
no.
you sound like the type of guy that understands what your worth is too. See,
Oh
that's it.
yeah.
You just don't want to be in a club. You want to be in the club, but you also want to make money.
Yeah.
So, and you most likely have a name, a name after 30 years.
Yeah, just like me. Like if I do a club, I tell I tell a club owner, a club promoter, I post a flyer one time on my social media. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
gonna be running around
Yeah, I ain't working.
posting it every day, every 5 minutes, and handing out flyers on the street.
Yeah, I ain't
Like,
like that.
yeah,
Like
I
Mad,
have social media. I have a good, I have a decent amount of followers. I'm gonna post it there.
like on
If
Mad
they
T,
come, they come. They don't, they don't.
like on Mad TV with Homie the Clown. You say, Homie, don't play that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna because I'm not the promoter. You're paying me to DJ.
Well, exactly. And if you're the promoter, you do the work. You know,
Yes.
my job is right, and I've done that. You know, my job is to come in and play. You know, I've had people because I'm not gonna lie, like I'm about $1,500, so I've come in and I've had people tell me, "Oh, we didn't do as good as we thought," and I'd be like, "Wow, that's really too bad," but I don't make deals. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
this ain't bargain DJ. You know, I'll never
yeah,
forget when I was younger, and you worked for a club, I just told the club I can DJ. That's it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I worked, and the club did like maybe 200 people, and it was one of those places shouldn't have been a club, but it was, and we did
yeah,
like 200 people, and the owner comes over, gives me an envelope, and walks away. I open it up. There's like $40 in there. I'm like, yo, I think you made a
yeah,
mistake. Nah, we didn't do too good tonight. I'm like, you did 200 people. The bar. I says the bar was packed all night. He's like, whatever. We didn't do that good, so I can't pay you. And I was mentioning it earlier 'cause I had another interview. I'm not a tough guy. I don't play a tough guy. But if you piss
yeah,
me off, I am a tough guy. And
yeah.
I threw a chair out his window, and I was like, don't worry about it. We even now. You know,
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
and I made sure after that my money never got touched. And I'm like, I mean, we all are, but I'm very, very protective about my money. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah. See, that's like me. I've been through that too. I've been through that too. But that was what helped me learn in the future paperwork contracts.
yeah,
You must sign this to get me to come here and do this.
right.
If you
Because
don't
I'd
give me
rather
my
see your
deposit
ass.
up front, you don't give me my deposit up front, do this like that, I'm not going to take part in this. You know what I
Right,
mean?
because I'll just see your ass on Judge Judy, and we're doing
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I'm telling you, listen,
I
you
mean,
know,
now at the level that I'm at and the level that you're at, we have to do contracts. We have to protect
yes,
ourselves, and because technically we are entertainers,
yes,
and we are in the entertainment business. So,
that's true.
we really can't play games. We can't be stupid. I have a deal now in the works for going to London next year. So you can only
Okay.
imagine what the contract and that will look
Yes,
like. You got plane fare, lodging, transportation.
yes.
So I'm working on another deal going to Dubai. Someone says to me, "Why do you want to go to Dubai?" I said, "Bro, they built a city out of a desert. You know how much money I'm gonna make if I go out there?
Oh yeah, of course.
And they're all princes. Everybody and their mother's a prince. So I said, I go out there, how much money I'm gonna make. And they said,
Yeah.
well, I said, listen, all I know is this. I sit at home, I talk to people, and then they say, by the way, so and so heard you, they like you, they want to work something out. Fine, no problem. I'm very secure about my music, my mixing. What about you? How are you? You're not over the top, but are you secure about what you do?
Yes, because this I'm secure because this is my job. I don't have a 9 to 5 job. So if I wasn't secure enough in it, I would never quit my 9 to 5 job to take this on. You know what I mean, full time. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely insecure about my mixing. The way I do everything. I'm definitely very secure about that.
What are you using for equipment now? Not amps, not speakers, but what are you using for your mixing? Are you using hardware versus software, or are you using just hardware? Tell me about that.
It depends on because now I get a lot of all vinyl parties and I still have all my vinyl and I still buy vinyl.
Whoa, get out of here! Really?
Yes, I never got rid of my vinyl. I'm in my studio right now after seeing some pictures. I have a 45 collection. I never got rid of
No,
my
I
vinyls.
saw pictures of your stuff. I mean, like it's a vault. It's not a studio. It's
Yes,
a vault. Don't lie.
I never, and I still buy vinyl. I went to the record store Saturday morning. I
Yo,
bought some 45s.
where the hell are you buying vinyl at, bro?
There are very little moms and pops. There are a lot of mom and pop record stores. You have Goodwills, you have eBay.
Oh wow,
I take use of them.
I miss it. I tell you, I miss it. I miss I miss getting paid Friday and then
Mm,
coming home, shower, shave, go to the record store with my boy, spend
yeah,
like everything you made, and and then make it back over the weekend.
yeah,
I miss going in there. Oh yo, oh, because people knew you. People
yeah,
they knew you. They knew what you were like. They knew what you did like. Yo, I got this
yes,
track. You could hear it. You could fast forward it. It was like what?
yes,
I mean, we were paying towards the end. I think I was
that's
paying
true.
like $5 a vinyl,
Yeah,
$5 for a
never,
single. I miss it, man. And
yeah,
the record store was your lounge.
yes.
You know.
Like I found the new record store is in Pennsylvania. They actually have a coffee shop built in the record store.
Oh
So
shit.
now, so I went there Saturday. I bought a cup of coffee as I'm shopping, looking at records. I'm looking. I listen to the records. I'm sipping my coffee, having a good time.
We
Yeah,
got
but
we got to hook up sometime. But yo,
yes,
I mean, it's a shame, but you found it. I personally I don't do vinyl no more. Um,
yeah.
I sold my last pair of tables 5 years ago.
Oh wow, so I still have mine. Like I
Yeah.
still play like for me, I use Serato. I,
I had used Serato. Actually, I still might have a pair somewhere. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like vinyl. I like touching it. I like feeling it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like using the turntable. Using the CDJs are good. I like them.
Yes,
Any Pioneer stuff I do like. The controllers I like, but nothing beats vinyl, bro. Nothing beats it.
yes. Like I use my. I have both. I have Technics 400s and I have two pairs CDJs. I use my techniques more than I use my CDJs. My CDJs, I keep them in my studio. If I'm doing like a small party, something light where just simple mixing, I grab the CDJ. And if it's something like where I can really have fun,
Yeah, right.
I bring my turntables.
Actually, I did an interview with another DJ. She's out in Brooklyn. She probably
Okay.
your competition. She's out in Brooklyn. Her name is DJ Big Body, and
Okay.
and she was the same way, except for she's using Pioneer turntables. Um,
Yeah.
and she said the same thing. She's like, it just feels better.
Yeah.
And she can go other places.
Yeah.
And depending on the event, I might have to bring. She has control records, but she's using Serato. I've used Serato. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. I have the control records
and
too.
you
Yeah.
got the CDJ, so that
Yeah.
touches base hardware versus
Yeah.
software.
'Cause a lot of people don't know the new Pioneers are the old Technic 1200 because Pioneer owned Technic 1200s. So a lot of people don't know the new Pioneers is equivalent to the old Technic 1200s.
Well, I really think that that's what they were always trying for. Is that
Yeah, because
they
yeah,
were.
because when I did the research, started when I did the research, Pioneer owns Technic 1200s.
Oh, really?
They own them. So basically, it's equivalent to the same thing because they own the company.
Right.
They just call the Pioneer now the 1200s.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. They're
Yes.
12. They're called 1210s now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I said it's all owned by Pioneer.
Right. And I heard the 1210s are just giving you a little bit more pitch control, which really makes no sense. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
1210s are giving you another like percentage of pitch, which is
Okay.
ridiculous. But um,
Yeah.
that makes really no sense. What do you got for? All right, now you can tell me what do you got for amps and speakers. What are you using?
Now I'm with Self Power, but before I had a rack of QSC amps.
Oh, see, there you go. That's a professional right there.
Yeah.
QSC, somewhat heavy, but
Yeah,
that's an amp.
I I still have them. I just don't have the speakers no more.
Right.
Because it's always easier to get speakers than to get amps.
Yes, it is.
So when I sold my boxes, I kept my amp rack.
And self power again, and you know if you're doing events, it's easy.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's what I use now. I use a lot of self power now because it's easy, grab and go. You know, I mean, no amps, but like I said, I still have my amp rack, but now I grab my self power system now.
Right, right.
I
Yeah, I
grab it, I
remember.
go in, I
I,
run it right to the mixer. I'm good, you know, and I'm good to go.
I remember having speaker boxes all over the place, and I
Yes,
remember the blown out speakers and repairing. Man, you know, it was like if you wanted something to do on a Saturday, if you weren't working, you just went into the basement and started working on your equipment, and
yes.
that would keep you down there for a couple of days,
I
definitely.
told a friend of mine a story the other day. What this is when the old school wooden boxes. One time when I was doing a party, the clamp of the clamp of the speaker inside the box came off the woofer. I had to get a screwdriver, screw the woofer out, put the clamp back on, and screw it back in the middle of the party. Because the party you can't cut the music off.
No, you
You
can't.
still want to dance, so
No.
you had to do what you had to do.
I did a party once, and the one of the speaker boxes, we had several of them. Wasn't my
Yes,
equipment, but one of the speaker boxes caught fire.
yes, I saw that before because the wires on the inside they touch and get hooked together.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I knew something was happening, and I tried to tell them because I've done sound engineering, but
Yes.
whatever, man. I mean, like the '90s were a good year, weren't they? I mean, compared
Oh
to
yes,
now.
yes, yes,
Um,
yes. Clearly.
how do you feel about seeing these advertisements on Facebook? You know, say Serato, and people being like, "Oh, I want to be a DJ." I mean, like, do you think anyone can be a DJ? Do you really think that?
No,
Thank
it's
you.
not made for everybody. Because I see a lot of DJs now. They think go to iTunes buying a bunch of songs and they buy a Serato makes them a DJ. Like that don't make you a DJ.
Well,
Because
there's a saying: if you have 100 records, you know, you're not a DJ. You know, but
yeah,
you know, I mean, like they're making this software, and everybody think I'm gonna let you finish, of course, but everybody thinks I can be a DJ, but yet, you know, there's a learning process, there's a learning curve, right?
there is. Yes,
And
yes,
just because you have software with auto sync doesn't mean you're a DJ.
yes. Because sometimes the auto sync, just like I said before, you don't cater to your crowd. So if you have the quote unquote auto sync, it may sync a song that the crowd don't even like, the crowd don't even enjoy.
Right.
But now you're playing it for a crowd that, what I mean?
Well,
You have to know how to read your crowd, knowing what to play next. Don't let a
I
computer
mean,
generate.
there's several things about being a DJ. I think.
Yes,
I mean, the main ones are knowing how to blend,
yes,
knowing how to read the room,
yes,
knowing your music. I mean,
yes.
you know, even I've always been told you need to sit down. I hated it and I rebelled against it when people, like, if I had a cover for somebody at another club, they'd tell you, "Yo, here's the music I play. Sit down and listen to it." And I used to tell them,
No,
"I'm not doing that, bro. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
yes,
whoa, dude, you're playing at my club tonight." I'm like, "Yeah, but if they're gonna hear what you play through me, I don't need to be there." You
yeah,
know, I'm my own person, and I'm not gonna go in there and play what you play because I might as well just play a CD of you.
yes. And plus, your style is different. You play a record different. Somebody else might play the record.
I mean,
That's how I see it. Also,
I also like. What about you? You believe? Is there a playlist for you or no?
no. Now, if I'm doing a private party, more so, yes. But if it's a club, I kind of, like I watch the crowd. I know what the hit songs are, but as I say, hit songs are radio play songs.
Yeah.
Then I cater around that, and then I always drift off and do my own thing. I never just follow what the top 40 songs are. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No, I never followed that either. I mean, for me, actually, I still am. Like, I talk to people like you, and I tell them, say, "Yo, look, I'm not looking to take over anything, but I am looking to go to a club, maybe play for a little bit, just to have some fun.
Yes. Yeah.
And I got people inviting me in, saying, "Yo, I'm playing here this weekend. Come on down. You get up for a little bit, do what you got to do, and have fun. I'm not looking to take anything, but I'm looking to get back into like the old way. Just not playing for 2,000 people, not playing for 200, 300 people. Even if
Yes.
it's 100, I'm like happy to do it, and I'm not asking about getting paid. I'm just saying I want to get back to my roots because it's been a long time. So
Yeah.
it's also good that I can make these. I can meet people like you that I'm sure would welcome me open hands and say, brother, you want to come down, you want to play, I got you. It's all good. Especially somebody that's lugging vinyl around. Shit. I
Oh
want
yeah,
to.
yeah,
I want to get
yeah,
back on that.
yeah,
I
yeah. That,
I'm ashamed that I got rid of all my vinyl. I was
oh
down to.
wow.
I know. I was.
I tried to, and I looked at myself. I said, I can't do this because, like I said before, I still buy vinyl. It's like
Yeah,
I
I
tried
know.
to. I realized I can't get rid of this, so I just,
Well, that's how
I
I
just.
was at first. At, at first, what happened? I had the vinyl, and then the next thing, I had like 3 or 4 coffins. I don't know how that happened. I do know how it happened, but people started giving me their shit. They're like,
Yeah,
"Yo,
yeah, yeah,
I'm moving to New Jersey," but these were these wannabe DJs, and they didn't know anything. They're like, "Yo, I'm moving, take my coffin."
yeah.
So by the
They
time
didn't
I knew it,
appreciate it.
no. So by the time I knew it, I had like 10 pairs of turntables. I had 10 coffins with equipment. So I was selling them for like 500 whole, and people.
Wow, that's the
I
yeah,
think I had to get rid of them. I wanted to get rid of them, and I
yeah.
didn't want to play games with people. So I'm like,
No, I
yo,
understand. Yeah,
I'm like a 1200 cost me 250 back in the day. So you know
yeah,
what? I don't know what they go for now, but you can have a 1200 for the same price. So I was selling the whole coffin for uh, 500, and they were going. And then like I had no more coffins. I'm like, what am I gonna do with all this
mm.
vinyl now? I'm like,
I got you.
and it was the beginning. It was the rise of the CD. So
Yes.
I was like, all right, let me look through my collection, and then I was transferring stuff to MP3. That was fun, sitting there all day. You
Yes,
know,
recording it.
put
Yes.
putting a record on the turntable and recording it into the thing. Oh man, it was just annoying. But then like they gave us sites to download music, and that was simple. And
Yes.
that brings me to another thing because I know you must download music or buy music or downloadable wise. How much research do you do into your music?
Well, I'm with a record pool that I'm fortunate enough that sometimes some of the record labels send me MP3 files of different albums that's about to come out and out right now. I definitely do my research on the music. When I research the music, I research as far as um, the first the style, genre, the artist, the beat, if it was sampled, where was it sampled from, and stuff like that. Because when I mix, I like to put all of that into perspective
Right.
when I mix.
Well, you're definitely doing a little bit more than I would do. So I don't. I sit here and I just go by like. I like that track. I hate that track. You know, I mean, like, but that's where I'm at right now. Like, I can decide what music. Like, I don't think of other people, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I think, all right, my people would like that, and then sometimes I think like I
Mm,
like that, and that's why I said earlier that the music has gotten worse because I've spent 10 hours, 11 hours in my chair on YouTube and other DJ pool sites and everything
yes.
searching music. And I'm just like, the music sucks.
Oh
Nobody,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
See, what got me into the originals? DJ Jazzy Jeff. I don't know if you ever listened to him.
I'm not
He
gonna
got
lie.
me.
I've never listened to
Uh,
him as a DJ. I've never listened
yeah.
to him as a DJ.
Well, if you go to his YouTube, he has a lot of mixes. You know what I mean, that he still does. He got me into, like, he would do a whole set the party. He'll play the original and blend in where they got it from.
Right.
So he got me into realize like, oh, that's where that came from. So sometimes some parties I tend to do that depending on the original and depending on the song.
Right.
Because they also it teaches people like I remember one time in part of COVID I did a live stream. I played the old Patti LaBelle song.
Really?
And somebody jumped in my chat was like, yeah, oh, that lady used a song from Usher. I'm like, no. Usher used her
Oh,
song.
yeah, right.
Because a lot of these people don't understand. They don't know
Do you really
the
think Patty?
originals.
Do you really think Patty LaBelle is gonna use Usher? No, Usher
Yeah, that's what I
used
said. We
Patty
know that,
LaBelle.
but as a younger generation who don't really know Patti LaBelle, for example, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
They're
True.
just going to who's popular now to them.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. I don't know. I take stupidity to heart.
Nah. So what I did is I did stop and I explained to him, listen, no, no. I stopped. I said, listen, no. A lot of these songs came. A lot of songs that you hear now are not original songs. People took a portion, they took a beat, and they made it their songs.
Right, they sampled. It's
Yeah.
all that it was coming up in the '80s. You know,
Yes.
everything was sampled,
Yes. I agree.
and then they ran
E-
into
Even now, even now, a lot of sampling going on now.
right, but then they ran into a lot of music rights problems back then, and
Yes.
that's I think the '80s was when it really happened. Was when a lot of people decided, yo, I want to get paid. You know, you're using my music. It's like
Yeah.
we used
But
30 seconds of it. What are you talking about? I don't care. It's my music. 30 seconds worth.
yeah, I definitely understand because you have artists now who is making millions of dollars of slash a song, and the artist is not really getting nothing from it. You know what I mean? Because they use their beat or they use their sample. So I definitely see that side. Listen, no. You're making $1 million, but off a beat that I already done.
All right, and now you know, like last but not least, is there anything you got to plug? Anything you want to promote that you got going on with yourself?
Just my website, imdjpot.com.
All right,
My social media, I am DJ Pot, I am DJ Pot. You can find out all my whereabouts as far as public
that's what
gigs,
it's all
private
about.
gigs. Yeah, I do sound rental. I do sound and lighting rental. You know,
Yeah, that was another
that's part of
thing.
my services.
That's another thing I wanted to hit you up on real quick. Um, I noticed you're doing sound and lighting. So,
Yes,
like the lighting is all you? You got lighting equipment, or like,
yes.
or yeah, outsourcing? 'Cause that shit ain't cheap. Lighting is not
No,
cheap.
I do. I don't do the large. I mean,
Yeah,
the large. I do the more simple. Because what happens is that over years you start buying equipment for yourself.
yeah,
I bought a light system for my own parties. I always had a sound system. Do you realize a lot of DJs don't like to invest in themselves,
yeah, yeah.
uh,
It's
or
not cheap.
or you got a guy with a band who don't have a sound system to do his show.
Yeah, I worked for a sound company for many years, and it was amazing how many DJs didn't have their own sound system.
Yeah,
How many different types of people didn't have their own setups, and it was like, but then they were, I don't know, they were kind of good because they were charging some crazy ass money. Because I'm
yeah,
charging you like 5 grand for a sound and lighting system, and you're DJing. I know you're not making $100. So
yeah. That's what it is. So I said, you know what? This is a new market. I have everything. So even I'm not being booked to DJ, I show up, set up,
yeah.
I plug you in, I let you do your thing. I sit back.
What kind of lights you got? What do you got? All intelligent, I assume.
Yeah, I got some basic uplighting. I have the wireless ones
Yeah,
where
I started using those recently, and like they're a pain
yeah,
in the ass. Like after 8 hours, you're fucked. I mean,
yeah, I know. No, see, yeah, you're right. But that's the reason why I don't quote myself of about having like a big, huge light
yeah,
setup.
right.
I have what I use. I have the uplights. I have some spotlights. I have some, some flashes.
You have enough.
Like that. Yeah. So I If you have a dance floor, I have enough to make the dance floor look pretty.
Right. 'Cause I just did a gig out in Deal, New Jersey. I don't know if you ever heard of Deal, but Deal, New Jersey is basically like billionaires. We did a party for a kid. He was 21 years old.
Okay.
His party had a DJ that charges. I know because I know him. I have to interview him soon. He's traveling now. He's at least $3,500 for the night. Then he
Yeah.
had another 10 grand in sound and lighting. He had a caterer. He had a snow cone machine. Okay.
Yeah.
He had the bartenders. He had the liquor. So this had to be at least 100 grand for his
Yes.
party. And like, that's our clientele right there. We want to hit
That's
them.
like me. I do this lady and this lady before COVID. She lived in the Hamptons. Well, that's where she lived in the Hamptons. Every year she have a big party out in her house. She would empty out the whole first floor of her house, and I would run speakers and lights through the house and through the backyard.
Right.
She would have all the liquor you could drink, all the food you could eat, and
Yeah.
never charge her friends and family nothing.
No. No, not at all.
And
Yeah, I
I used to
know.
be the DJ all night. Then she have all the like any kind of liquor you can have because just the idea of wanting your guests to have a good time.
Yeah.
I would go to set up lights and speakers and got paid a decent amount of money. You know what I mean? A good amount of money. To where I went home like I'm good.
Yeah,
It
no.
it was it was worth me setting up the headache. You know what I mean?
It was worth it, but it sucked too because it's an all-day event. You got to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
out there. You got to get out there by let's say 2, 3 o'clock. You have to set
yeah.
up. You got sound check. You have a little bit of downtime, but it's especially for me, it sucks when I have to sit around. Because
Yes.
like I'll sleep my ass off prior to an event, and then I'm
Okay.
all like wired up when I get there because I've been sleeping for the last 12 hours, and
Yeah.
then I forget when I forget not to do it, and then I get there, and I'm just sitting around with my hand in my pants because
Yeah.
I have 5 hours before I go on, and then I got to
So
walk
yeah, yeah,
around and talk to people I
yeah,
don't even like. It's like
yeah,
so, and then I can't even start drinking until I go on because God forbid I start drinking 5 hours early, you're gonna have a hot mess on your hands. So, I
yeah,
can't even do that. So, now what I've done is, I've gotten a little bit smarter. If I go out to like Jersey, I'll go out the night before. I'll get a hotel room, and then I just drive out to the event. That's about as
yeah.
far. That's about as the closest thing to New York when I get a hotel room.
I got you.
If I go down to Manhattan, if I have to go down and do a sound check, and then
Yeah, yeah.
I'll get a hotel room. I'll put it in the contract because I'm not going to drive from this Westchester to Manhattan, back to Westchester, back to Manhattan. You know,
Oh yeah. You ever see like when I do parties in Maryland, DC like that, they have to give me a hotel room. If not, get it for me.
right,
Put it in the contract and say, hey,
right.
this is your money for pay you. This is the money for the hotel. You know what I mean?
Well,
I do
that's
it like
just
that.
like did the College of what Delaware University.
Okay.
Saying wherever I go, boarding is part of the deal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you don't have to get me one, but you're paying for it. So
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, I mean, it's part of the deal because I'm not going to sit around talking to your mother all day and night. So I don't know what to tell you, but your ass better come
Sure,
up with
yeah.
some place for me to sleep. I don't
Oh
care if
yeah,
it's
I'm the same way.
I don't care if it's your brother's house, but you put me somewhere so I can take a nap. You know,
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, yeah.
and like I was
Just like
telling, like I was saying earlier, that's one of the deals with, Dubai and London is that sucks, that drags these deals on sometime is because airfare constantly changes,
yeah, yes,
hotel
yes.
rates constantly change. So if you if you say X amount and then it's off, you could be hurting yourself for a couple of hundred. Now,
Yes, because the race change. Yes.
and depending on how much you're making, a couple of hundred may not really make a difference. But we all like to take as much money as we want when we come home. We all want that big payday.
Yes, it's not about getting paid for what you deserve, what you want.
There you go. Listen, DJ Pot, I appreciate you coming on the show, and everyone knows where to
Yes.
find you. They know what you got going on. And once again, I really want to appreciate again everybody. We're talking with DJ Pot from Brooklyn, New York, otherwise known as Crooklyn, in the U.S. of A. That's right. You know,
Yes.
you gotta know your
I
stuff.
appreciate you having me. I appreciate you having me on your show.
Thank you,
I
boss.
definitely appreciate that.